Welcome to the SmartKeys podcast. Today, we are undertaking a really critical deep dive. We're looking into the engine room of modern sales and growth operations. We're examining a fundamentally new category of platform, this idea of an enrichment-first automation tool. And we're using a recent technical review of a tool called Clay AI as our lens to understand not just what these tools do, but, the strategic shift they really demand from us.
Exactly. And the premise here is, well, it's pretty straightforward. Speed and hyper-personalization they're not optional extras anymore. They're the absolute baseline for successful outbound.
Right.
So for any professional listening, whether you're a head of growth, running an agency, or you're on an SDR team, if you're relying on manually scrubbed lists or stale CRM data, you're losing deals before you even hit send.
You're already behind.
You're already behind. So this deep dive is about learning how to treat all that pre-outreach work prospecting, finding data, validating, personalizing as an automated engineering problem. That way, the human effort can focus only on high-value conversations.
So our mission today is really to look past the marketing language and get into the mechanics. We need to figure out the strategic advantages and the practical hard-won lessons that teams need to apply if they want to run outbound at a genuine scale. We're hunting for those specific insights that drive higher conversion rates and, better ROI. Okay, so let's unpack this core functionality. The review describes the system as a living table, which sounds like a spreadsheet, but smarter. Like every column is intelligent. It's not just holding data, it's executing a workflow. Can you tell us a bit more about how that structure really provides the foundation for the win here?
That living table analogy is perfect, actually, because it conveys dynamic action. Unlike a static spreadsheet where you're manually copying and pasting, each cell here is a trigger point. It can run a lookup, apply a rule, or kick off a custom action. But the true foundation, like you said, the strategic win, it's the obsession with data quality and coverage.
But wait, we've heard about tools promising comprehensive data for years. What makes this strategically different from just, plugging into one big list provider?
That's the critical difference. And it comes down to a concept called waterfall enrichment.
Okay.
If you rely on just one source, let's say Apollo, and it has a 50% match rate for emails, you just lose the other half. Waterfall enrichment solves this by sequencing multiple high-quality providers. We're talking about chaining together data sources like PDL, Clearbit, Crunchbase, Hunter, you name it.
So the magic is the priority setting. If the first source misses the phone number, it doesn't just stall. It automatically queries the next one in line. So it fills the blanks and validates fields on the fly.
Exactly. It's a highly sophisticated safety net. It dramatically boosts your overall match rate because every time a field is filled, the next source on the list is either skipped, which saves you credits.
Yeah, that's smart.
Or it's used to confirm the data. And this focus on validation is so key, especially for reducing bad emails, which, protects your domain sender reputation. Then you can move into the power of chaining, which takes that clean data and actually runs it through analysis.
The chaining sounds almost like a sophisticated Rube Goldberg machine for data, where the output of one step just automatically triggers the next. Can you give us an example of how a complex chain might work?
Sure. A chain might start by, say, finding a lead's email and their LinkedIn URL. That's step one. Once that's confirmed, the next column uses that LinkedIn URL to query a firmographic data provider for company size and industry. That's step two.
Okay, makes sense.
And if the company is classified as, enterprise size and over 500 people, the next column might use GPT to run a nuanced research prompt on the company's recent news. That entire sequence, which used to take a human SDR 15 minutes of tab switching,
At least.
now happens in seconds, automatically.
And it's so important to stress this isn't a CRM. It complements systems like HubSpot and Salesforce. This is basically the high-octane research and prep engine that runs upstream of all that. It ensures that when contacts do get pushed downstream, they're already scrubbed, qualified, and full of context. So we get how it manages data. That's the prep work. But what about the true intelligence? The stuff that eliminates the most tedious research. What really blew me away in the review was how it handled context gathering. We're talking about more than just an email address, but finding the right moment to strike. Tell us about this research agent, or Claygent.
The agent is the AI muscle. It moves beyond static exports. Think about the intern who used to spend all day manually browsing company websites looking up their tech stack.
Right, that's soul-crushing work.
That job is now largely obsolete. The research agent crawls public sources for that kind of context that static exports always miss, and it uses advanced language models to do it.
So this isn't just basic data extraction. There's deeper reasoning involved. I saw mentions of different model choices and even using powerful engines like GPT-4 or Claude. What does that deeper reasoning enable in a practical sense?
It enables highly contextual analysis at scale. For instance, you could instruct the agent to find the 3 most recent strategic partnerships announced by this company in the last 12 months.
Oh,
Or summarize the sentiment of the CEO's last 3 tweets about their hiring strategy. This lets teams pull out nuanced data, normalize complex job titles, or, and this is crucial, identify the exact pain point your product solves rather than just guessing.
and that relevance must be fueled by the power of intent signals. We all know timing is everything in sales.
Yeah.
How does the tool make sure you're reaching out when a company is actually showing interest or internal change?
Intent signals track observable, high-value events. We're talking about job changes, significant promotions, or major hiring spikes in certain departments. When the VP of sales at your target account just moved to a new company, that is a massive buying signal.
Huge opening.
It's at least a relationship opening. By tracking these live signals, the platform surfaces the perfect timing for your outreach. That context means your first message is relevant, timely, and therefore not just generic noise.
And that real-time data then feeds directly into personalization. The review highlights features that sort of democratize customization, like the formula generator. For our listener, what does that mean in a day-to-day workflow?
The formula generator is the no-code power-up. It turns plain English instructions like, if the company size is over 1,000, write a line about scaling challenges, otherwise write a line about startup growth into a working formula.
So anyone can do it.
Anyone. This means non-technical sales ops people can rapidly transform fields and standardize data without writing complex code. And that clean, enriched profile then powers the personalized copywriting. It uses those fresh data points to create these ultra-short, highly relevant intros that truly feel one-to-one. And that's the proven strategy for lifting reply rates by double-digit percentages.
The practical gain here is just phenomenal. You are essentially compressing research time from hours to seconds and eliminating that endless tab switching that burns out so many good SDRs. It lets teams prioritize precisely who to contact, why they're contacting them, and when to send the message, all based on live context. Okay, let's switch gears a bit to the practical strategy and management side. All this power has to be managed responsibly, especially around cost and integration. So integration flexibility is crucial. Where does all this finished data go?
It has to integrate seamlessly, both upstream and downstream. Upstream, you feed it your basic lists. Downstream, that data handoff is key. The finished rows with enriched contacts, notes, qualification scores can sync instantly to CRMs like HubSpot and Salesforce. And critically, they can push those ready-to-send rows into outbound sequencers like Instantly, SmartLead, SalesLocked, or Outreach. It's an automated funnel that ensures the moment a lead is ready, it's in the hands of the sender.
The review also pointed out a unique cost control mechanism, the BYO key model, bring your own key. Why is that strategically smart for, say, an enterprise user?
It offers 2 huge advantages: data sovereignty and cost leverage. Many large teams already have contracts with data providers, sometimes with better rates or specific coverage. By letting them bring their own key, they can maximize their existing spend and integrate those data sets directly into the waterfall. It lets them segment their costs using the in-platform credits only for the really specialized lookups or the high-cost GPT tasks.
Which leads us perfectly to the essential cost note for our listeners. The pricing is credit-based, and that can be a landmine for the uninitiated. You have to understand that every single lookup, every GPT prompt, every webhook, it all meters credits. The sticker price of the plan means nothing if your automated chains are credit hogs.
Exactly. This requires a shift in mindset. It's an engineering mindset. If you're running a 10-step enrichment chain with a complex GPT-4 prompt on every single one of your, say, 10,000 leads, you can burn through a substantial number of credits very, very quickly. The platform is powerful, but power requires strategic restraint.
So what's the strategy to avoid that kind of credit burn? How do we build those lean chains we hear about?
The number one strategy is filter early and rich only qualified rows.
Okay.
So if you start a chain by querying a lead's LinkedIn URL, that's 1 credit, and you find out the company only has 5 employees and your ideal customer is over 500, stop the chain immediately. Do not waste 10 or 15 more credits trying to find their phone number and writing a personalized intro.
That makes so much sense.
Use filters to gate the expensive lookups. Only run the deep enrichment on the 20% of leads that actually fit your criteria, and teams have to monitor their usage logs weekly to spot those high consumption steps and then refine their rules.
That is just extremely practical advice. It changes the focus from get all the data to get the right data efficiently.
And it also requires plan alignment. Teams have to be realistic about their plan starter for pilots, pro for consistent volume, explore for really aggressive outbound motions. You have to align it to your sales objectives because the per credit cost drops a lot at the higher tiers, which justifies the investment for teams operating at scale.
So what does this all mean for the modern professional in different roles? Let's run through those specific high-impact use cases where this toolkit delivers immediate ROI.
Okay, in outbound sales, the application is obvious but profound. It's not just list building, it's automated list scoring. You build a targeted list, score every prospect instantly based on your ideal customer profile, and then, and this is the key, you push only the highest scoring 100 leads to the SDRs. The time savings are massive, and the quality of the conversation is immediately higher.
And for recruiting, which is really just sales of a different kind, that speed advantage is critical.
Absolutely. You can leverage those intent signals we talked about. Spot recent job switchers, say an engineer who updated their LinkedIn profile yesterday.
Yeah.
You enrich their profile and trigger hyper-tailored outreach before any job board is even updated. You move before the competition even knows that talent is on the market.
Wow. And what about for, say, VC or business development teams?
For them, it turns passive monitoring into active deal sourcing. They can automate tracking funding rounds via Crunchbase integration and monitor hiring velocity. So if a late-stage company just raised a Series C and is hiring aggressively for partnership roles, the system automatically prioritizes that company and generates an intro message that references the exact funding date and the specific role they're hiring for. The intro is instant, it's relevant, and it's based on verified, real-time context.
So to wrap this up, we're seeing a clear split in the market. The choice today seems to be between an all-in-one workflow, which is simple but offers less control, and a flexible, composable toolkit like this.
The composable approach is definitely for teams that value precision and control over simplicity. These are teams willing to invest the time to meticulously build custom rules, test their fallbacks, and iterate on their GPT prompts to get really high-quality output. The payoff isn't saving $50 on software. The payoff is in superior personalization, cleaner data, and a compounding return on qualified leads over time.
And that brings us to our final provocative thought for you to consider. Since we know that personalized icebreakers built on live, contextual data significantly lift reply rates and meetings booked, you shouldn't just be measuring how fast you send messages. The only true gauge of ROI for these advanced enrichment tools is the cost per qualified lead. Understanding that one metric will define whether this powerful automation is just an expense or a genuine competitive advantage. That was an essential deep dive into AI-driven sales strategy and process efficiency. Thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure. Success here really comes from treating this tool as the high-powered research and prep engine it is, understanding its composable nature and, diligently managing that credit-based cost model to maximize your efficiency.
Absolutely. Thank you for tuning in to the SmartKeys podcast. If you want to review the full article and see the detailed platform review we discussed, the link can be found right in the show notes. Hit that subscribe button for more insights on the future of work and productivity hacks. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.